welcome back to The Spell. After I took a giant poop, yes, I am saying that, do not judge me. Because he finally believed. He turned his head towards her, efficiently, effortlessly, smiled truthfully, and said without a hint of falsehood, "Definitely. I be scared." Her eyes were soon filled with tears. Her hands were formed little fists. She was trembling. Her breaths were uneven. She had something to say. It was obvious, but instant. Instead, she took off towards his room, her cat in her hands, crying. I knew it was going to be the last couple episodes, god damn it! Footsteps finally settled near the front door. It was quiet before the storm. He was grateful. Grateful to Eloise for giving him all those irreplaceable emotions. Grateful to his sister for giving him all those invisible lessons. Grateful for life itself for giving him a good reason to fight. Brought you by the next episode. No. He never wanted to be wrong again in his life. For that he would show the world what strength really means. Let the party begin. Hey, at least you gave us sound effects. She was shaking like a leaf. The cat beside her was restless. Hey, at least you gave us a freaking guitar. You have me thoroughly intrigued. Lois had to handle underneath Eve's bed in order to stay next to her. But even then, Bill Hook couldn't help but keep her instincts in check. She had scratched Eloise, and even further, the corner of the room. Eloise didn't feel a thing. She was scared. She had a hard time to even think straight. He wanted to leave Eve alone, but he knew fully how useless she was. The only thing she could do now was use the trick he taught her and rule the world. It was believing. He had to. In the end, he couldn't imagine someone stronger than him. She believed, and rightly so. Her head was touched a round metallic object. Starts panicking. Roxanne's lipstick. Okay. Next shot. He had shot 14 inches to the left and the right of the door in quick succession. Good thing I went to the Roxanne story before reaching the other ones. Now we know what fully happened. Walls were thin, and shadows underneath the door gave him a pretty good indication as to where and when to shoot. It had been a couple of seconds since he started to the encounter, but he already knew that. Two down, he thought to himself as he heard the thuds behind the door, and the causes followed it. Look! Pow, pow, pow! They were reciprocating the shots with random shots of their own. Steve quickly jumped behind the couch, usually red. Right on, not the best cover he could find, but it was clearly the best in terms of positioning. I love that they're finally helping me out by using sound effects. Welcome back to the action movie, folks. Shit. If it keeps out like this, it keeps us up for long, who knows who they could hit? Neighbors? Or worse, Los. He couldn't peek. Not yet. Kill the sound effects, bro. It makes my job easier. I don't want to be hitting my desk. Eventually, practice paid off. He heard a voice in the corridor. It's gone nowhere. Wait. Thank you. Hop out. He didn't think. He didn't have to think. He didn't even have to look. He shot in the direction in front of the door. He heard a man cry in pain. God damn you! He do it! Hey, at least it worked. It wasn't enough. He had only wandered one of two men remaining. Soon they would rush him, and he would lose the only advantage he had. He spontaneously shot the light bulb on the ceiling, threw his cell phone, and at the other extremely of the room. Then hid behind cover. He closed his eyes and concentrated on his breathing. Concentrated on his breathing. The breath and positioning were his only two edges after all. He had to remain calm. Alright. I'll make the job easier then, as I very poorly narrate. When his heartbeat settled itself, he reached to the mirror in his pocket and held it near the side of the couch in order to have the front door in his line of sight while still keeping its cover. Where's the other mirror? Perfect. He always had mirrors on him. They were that overpowered. Now I know. The front door eventually opened, but no one was behind it. Where they crouched on each side of it, he couldn't act. He knew that if he did take that chance, one of them would have a clear shot at him. He couldn't use the same trick twice. Instead, he didn't budge from where he stood. After all, they still don't know exactly where he was. Even better, he had started fidgeting in his pocket, as he was apprehensive of what was to come. The men finally came inside in succession, with with their pistols drawn in front of them, while scanning the room as if rehearsing an elaborate choreography. What's the perfect chance to take, like, pot shots? Nail one in the head, nail the other one in the kneecap. Nope, shoulder. Shoulder's a little bit better. They were well trained, but a bit rough, around the edges. If he weren't in an enclosed space, knowing they were coming, he would have had no chance at all. But thankfully for him, he wasn't that case. He finally pushed the cell phone button on the phone in his pocket, and almost immediately the phone he had thrown a minute ago vibrated on the floor. Men instinctively reacted to the noise coming from the ground. They turned the opposite direction from where he was hiding. Now. Perfect. The men closest to him first, then the other one. What? I need to know. Good. 3 more shots. They both dropped dead on the floor like puppets, with their strings cut off. That was way too close for comfort. He wanted to take a breather, but there was no time for such a thing. He walked painfully to the phone on the floor and picked it up. The screen was cracked, but it was still usable. Then he noticed blood dripping on it. Oh, hopefully he's okay. He'd been too slow enough. The bullet had grazed his cheek. Not being fully used to his wound yet. The moment Steve had to turn his hips left in order to steady his aim, a jolt of pain ran down his body, which stopped the moment for an instant. Enough for his opponent to notice it, to fire at him. Yeah. At least in the end, he was the last man standing, even if it was only a couple of centimeters from not being the case. Now for the rest of them. It had to be faster, way faster. And that's what made the situation so difficult to handle. Is this the well fuck moment? The fact that he can't stay in his comfortable defense position changed his odds of winning by a lot. But that couldn't be helped. He didn't want to drop dead before taking care of Mark, and neighbors were also bound to complicate things by calling the cops, which should already be the case by now. With all the turmoil they were making. Yeah, brought to you by Sounds. It piss people off. Fast. Okay, I'm not gonna go down that road of why. At the front door, he looked both sides of the corridor, though his mirror. As he thought, no one was on the 3rd floor anymore. Those 4 were probably the only ones that were sent there. He walked out to his apartment, turned left, and directed himself towards the stairs That's when he heard something moving behind him. Shit. Crap. It had become quiet. There was no longer any sign of struggle. Was it over? Were they safe? What if Steve was hurt? Maybe she should take a look for herself. And from there, I'll have to end the episode here because this is a very tense situation and I want to know more, dang it! And I will know next episode. Well, I hope all you guys have a great love of time. We have an action movie to keep on going through here. See you guys next time. So, you guys have a time or day or whatever.